Hello, my dear friends. Hello, my dear listeners. How are you all? I hope you are doing best to serve your duties with utmost honesty and love. So, let's proceed with the new chapter from the life of our master Sri Ramkrishna Paramhansa Dev. And today we are going to start a new chapter. The name of this chapter is Keshab Chandra and the Brahmo Samaj. We are going to read this chapter part by part. So today we are going to read the first part. In March 1875, about a year before his mother's passing, an important event took place in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, which was destined to produce far reaching results. It was his meeting with the celebrated Brahmo leader and preacher Keshab Chandra Sen, undeniably the greatest figure of the Brahmo movement of the time. A great scholar and eloquent orator of an exceedingly religious turn of mind, Keshav, from a lieutenant to Maharshi Devendranath Tagore, advanced to the leadership of the forward section of the Brahmos and founded the Bharatvarshiya Brahmo Samaj. His character and attainments made him the idol of a large number of ardent truth seekers, and his influence on the educated youths of the day was great. Hearing of his piety, Sri Ramakrishna wished to meet him. He had seen him meditating long ago at the Adi Brahmo Samaj and had remarked that of all the boys, there he was the only one whose meditation was successful. He also had a vision of him in Samadhi in which he saw a peacock with a ruby in its head, spreading its tail. The unfurled tail, as he said afterwards, signified Keshav's followers, and the ruby his Rajasika nature. Keshav was at this time staying with some of his followers in the garden house of Jai Gopal Sen at Belghoria, a couple of miles from Dakshineshwar. One afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna, accompanied by Hriday, went in Captain Vishwanath's carriage to see him. Hriday went in first to announce his uncle's arrival. Hearing that a great devotee had come to talk with him on spiritual matters, Keshav asked Hriday to show him in. Sri Ramakrishna was plainly dressed in a dhoti with a red border, one end of which was thrown across his left shoulder. Keshav and the other Brahmos at first found nothing remarkable about him. Finally, Sri Ramakrishna said, I hear that you have seen God, so I have come here to hear about it. The ensuing conversation held Keshav and his followers under its spell. Sri Ramakrishna then sang a song of Kali, the mother, with his usual fervor, in the course of which he fell into samadhi. Keshav and the others were not much impressed by this trance, as such states were unfamiliar to them. But when they saw Hriday recall his uncle to ordinary consciousness by chanting the sacred Om in his ears, they were amazed. Sri Ramakrishna's face was beaming with a divine radiance. A torrent of inspiring words followed, which went straight to the hearts of the listeners. He spoke of the innumerable manifestations of one and the same infinite God, illustrating it by the following parables. Some blind men happened to come across an elephant. Someone told them what it was and asked them to describe it as it seemed to them. The one who touched the lake said, the elephant is like a column. The second one said, the elephant is like a winnowing fan. He had felt one of its ears. Similarly, those who had touched its trunk or belly gave different opinions. So, with God, everyone conceives him according to his experience. A man who had seen a chameleon under a tree returned and said, I have seen a beautiful red chameleon under the tree. Another said, I was there before you. The chameleon is not red but green. I have seen it with my own eyes. A third said, I too know it well. I saw it before either of you, and it was neither red nor green, and I saw it with my own eyes. It was blue. Others declared it was yellow or grey, and so on. Soon they began to quarrel among themselves as to who was correct. A man passing by asked what was the trouble. When he was told, he said, I live under that very tree, and I know the chameleon well. All of you are right. Everyone. The chameleon is sometimes green, sometimes blue. It is all colors by turn, and sometimes it is absolutely colorless. He ridiculed the attempt of the human mind to fathom the nature of God by comparing it to an that desired to carry a whole sugar hill in its mouth. It is God's grace, he said, that leads to realization. There was something in the manner of that convinced Keshab that Sri Ramakrishna must have actually seen God. Stupefied and puzzled, Keshab Chandra, the high priest of the Brahmo cult, felt like a child before this man of realization and listened to him with the utmost reverence. He opened the doors of his heart, and every word uttered by the Master found a permanent niche there. At the end of the discourse, the Master said to Keshav, your tail has dropped. Finding that the audience did not understand him, he explained, you must have seen tadpoles. So long as they have tails, they must live in water. But when they drop off, they can live on land as well as in water. Similarly, so long as a man has his tail of nescience, he can live only in the pool of the world. But as soon as he loses his nescience, he can live in God or in the world just as he pleases. Your mind, Keshab, is in such a state now. You can live in the world and enjoy divine bliss as well. After spending some delightful hours in this way, Sri Ramakrishna took his leave and returned to Dakshineshwar. So, my dear friends, today we are stopping here. We will explore the next part of this chapter. Till then, be happy, be jolly, and keep praying. Shubhamastu.